It's Money Saving Monday, and today we've got a financial expert who's got quite an interesting background. Devon Kennard started his career in real estate while he was playing in the NFL. Now he's retired from football and back home in the Valley, ready to kick his business into high gear and inspiring others to hustle.
So these are not all of them, but a few of my game balls.
It's a walk down memory lane every time Devon Kennard goes downstairs to his man cave.
My favorite number is 42, so went to 42 with Detroit, and then prized Arizona, local kid, being able to play locally. So
Kennard burst onto the football field when he was at Desert Vista High School. He went on to USC, then made it in the NFL, playing for the New York Giants, Detroit Lions, our Arizona Cardinals for 2 years, and ending his 8-year football career with the Baltimore Ravens.
I just sacked Josh Allen.
But football wasn't Kennard's only job when he was playing in the NFL.
The first property I ever bought, I chose Beech Grove, Indiana.
It was $89,000. He put in 12 grand. That was the beginning of his career as a real estate investor. And now?
I own 29 properties right now.
All over the country.
Yeah, mostly in Tampa, Kansas City. I also invest in bigger projects. So I've invested in over 40 large projects across the country. And I have my own private lending company where I'm lending to fix and flip investors here locally.
Where did this interest in finance begin?
I would say it started even in high school, just because having a father who was a professional athlete. My dad played 13 years in the NFL.
His dad was Derek Kennard, who played 13 years in the NFL and even won a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys.
I realized that even if I have a career just like him, 13 years, hopefully win a Super Bowl, there's so much life on the back end of that. And that made me ask myself a question, do I want to be successful because of football, or do I want to be successful, period? And my decision was I want to figure out how to figure out finances regardless.
And share his knowledge with everyone, which sparked not one, but 2 books.
This book, Real Estate Side Hustle, my most recent, it's really dedicated to the busy professionals out there who are trying to figure out how to invest in real estate and looking for an investment vehicle. And many believe that they can't get into real estate because they're too busy. And I want to fight that notion because I was able to do it while I was playing in the NFL.
And these days, Kennard is still just as busy. So what was here before?
It was nothing but rock, and it was like a sloped hill.
Not only has he renovated his entire house, he's also buying and fixing up other properties, trying to grow his business here in the Valley with his wife, who's a real estate agent, and juggle work-life balance with his 2 young daughters. Are you at where you always wanted to be?
Yes, but I didn't necessarily think it would look like this. I love this avenue because there's not many people who look like me talking about finances. And I've read and scoured through every finance book and real estate book out there. And there just wasn't many people that looked like me, had the background I have as a professional athlete. So I'm really, excited to take that mantle and take that on from my perspective and my vantage point. And I hope I connect with a lot of people and help change lives.
And Devon Kennard joins me now. Talk about unstoppable from the football field here in the Valley. Okay, real quick, I got to ask, do you still have that property in Indiana, that home?
I ended up selling that.
You did?
Yeah.
Making a good profit?
Oh, yeah, I made a good profit.
Okay, I bet. All right, so we talked about your book, Real Estate Side Hustle. And it's so interesting how you say, okay, even for the busy person, because we are all busy,
right,
that we could actually do this too?
Yeah, absolutely. I was focused on sacking quarterbacks on Sundays, and I figured out how to do it. So I challenge everybody else to kind of put it together and figure it out as well.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
And you have 3 ways on how to do this. First off, we want to start with, you say, increasing your spread. How do we do this?
So your spread is essentially how much you make and how much you spend every month. And you want to increase that as much as you can because that's going to give you more money to invest. So you do that by decreasing expenses, concentrating on your fixed expenses, which is your housing and your transportation, but also figuring out a way to earn more. So in football, that was me getting as good as I could at what I did. And I challenge everybody out there to do the same in their profession because that increases your spread and allows you to start to invest.
And we talked about this before. I mean, a lot of times when people are saying, okay, you got to cut back. So cut the coffee, cut, all these little things like that. But you say that's really not going to make a big difference.
No, those aren't the difference makers. That can help, but your housing, if you can go from a $3,000 home you're renting
renting to a $2,000 apartment, you're talking about $12,000 in a year. And now that's more money to be able to invest. So people kind of waste their time focusing on the lattes and Netflix. And I think they should concentrate on housing and transportation. Maybe instead of renting the Mercedes, maybe get the Toyota. And all the expenses that come along with an expensive house and an expensive car, that decreases your spending overall.
Which you did, and you talk about delayed gratification, which I feel like that's a whole different segment, which I love. Okay, next up, you say build your core four. Who are your core four?
So your core four, this is for people who are busy professionals. So you're not going to be able to invest in real estate by yourself. So there's four people you need: your deal finder, your contractor, your property manager, and your lender. So
that's a lot.
Your deal finder is who's going to find you the deals. But if you find a good deal finder, they're going to introduce you to great contractors, to great property managers, and to great lenders. So I've kind of figured that's your domino effect. Find people who can find you good opportunities, and they're going to help put you in place to find everybody else you need. And that really puts you in position to be able to invest in real estate.
That's a really good foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, finally, you say build out your SOP, standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's really important because I was busy playing football, so I needed a structure of being able to invest and SOPs in place. So what that looked like for me while I was playing, my deal finder, I would tell him I'm looking for a house in Tempe that's less than $500,000. Like, I'm giving him a criteria. So now he's only sending me those deals. So where I'm not seeing 100 deals every week, I'm seeing 2 or 3. So now I'm able to evaluate those a little bit better, and I have a structured system of how to do that so I can keep buying and growing my portfolio. So all of a sudden, something that seems very intimidating, you break it down into increasing your spread, building your core four, and building out your SOPs, and all of a sudden, somebody busy working a 9-to-5 can start to build a real estate portfolio.
I'm just curious, when you were playing in the NFL, I mean, how much time was devoted on this side hustle of yours?
Yeah, so during season, it was about 5 hours a week. So that for me, it was our off day. I would spend about 5 hours after I got rehab treatment, all that, and I would focus on it. And then I would steal time by listening to some audiobooks and podcasts, taking calls during lunch breaks, but that was majority of my time. In the off season was where I got more time. I would spend a little effort, really. I would go visit my properties, and I would spend about 10 to 15 hours a week. You could only train so many hours in a day. I would handle my business. And some of my leisure time, instead of playing video games, I was working on my portfolio.
Dang, hustling and hustling. Oh my gosh. Well, we are so excited to have you back home in the Valley, trying to, just soar again in a completely different career and field. And it's so great to have you. I hope you come back on, give some more financial advice, and don't forget his book, Real Estate Side Hustle. It is a great read. And you can see more of my full interview with Devon on our 12 Plus app and 12 News YouTube channel happening right now. All you have to do is scroll to the sports section.